After a ferocious attack on Ismael Port, another wreckage of a Russian drone was found in Romania. While everybody expected NATO to react accordingly, their response was it never happened. Even though the evidences, including photographs of missile part, prove the opposite, they keep denying it. But why would NATO, a defender of its member states, dispute such a critical incident? What could be their intention? Are they simply scared of Russia? Or is it a part of a larger plan? Obviously, they are still trying to omit so-called escalation, which might cause World War III. But why would you allow anybody to hit the territory of NATO member without any consequence? Such a shocking response remains mystery. Meanwhile, the whole world is observing the results of Ukrainian counteroffensive. The operation, announced as a quick victory, actually appeared to be quite a challenge. Even with the help of Western partners, Ukraine doesn't show results as rapidly as everyone expected. Only after 3 months we have seen that the actions have intensified and the battlefield become truly capitulating. For example, on the southern front, after a huge defeat on the Melitopol front, Russian army tries to get the Robotyne back at all cost. Why is Robotyne so important? This village is one of the first settlements that form so-called Surovikin line, named after a fearsome Russian general. By the way, after the beginning of the Ukrainian counteroffensive, he started to appear on media less and less. Will he be the next victim of the plane catastrophe? Nevertheless, the line still has his name and forms the border of Russian reinforcements. It is formed by 3 different layers of fortifications. Notably, it goes from the strongest fortification to the weakest. Therefore, within a few days, we might see how Ukrainians already breached the second line. So, by keeping this victorious pace, Ukraine may continue breaking through Russian positions one by one. Still, there is another point of view. Why would Russia let the enemy to keep going deeper inside its rear so easily? Isn't it a trap? The threat that Ukrainian forces will be encircled remains. If Ukrainian armed forces keep going deeper to the front, they might be easily cut off from the supply chain. And then, even weak and worn-out Russian army will be able to defeat them without any significant loss. Meanwhile, Russia tries to transfer to this area reinforcements. They are relocating soldiers from the Eastern Front and as well try to use poorly prepared soldiers as a cannon fodder. These actions give Ukraine the opportunity to show the success on another hotspot of the ongoing war, Bakhmut direction. Will Bakhmut ever be fully captivated by Ukrainians? Relocation of Russian forces to the south might allow it to happen. Both sides try to be flexible and change their tactics in order to catch the enemy in the moment of weakness. Russian military was shocked by their recent losses near Robotyne and started implementing a new way of managing the war. And reportedly, this upgrade will be able to change the outcome of the conflict. Recently, we widely discussed that fact that Russia started sending poorly prepared recruits to the battlefield. Sounds like a failure, especially if we consider that Ukrainians put a lot of effort into preparation of their army. Ukrainians are being trained by NATO countries, and even though they come to the front better prepared, the process of training is quite time-consuming. So, Russian commanding will try to advance from this fact. For the last year of occupation, Russians have managed to build a strong web of communication. And for poorly prepared soldiers, it can be the game changer. When the front communication is fast and simple, even inexperienced warriors can follow orders more efficiently. As well, Russian troops might feel more connected and supported. Russia has a huge amount of manpower, and with a good commanding, they will be able to be a great obstacle for Ukraine. Still, not everything is so smooth for Russians. Even though they have updated the communication, they still use their new network carelessly. Ukrainian military intelligence often intercepts their encrypted messages. When all of the troop movements, vulnerabilities and plans are already known, nothing prevents Ukraine from causing a damage. Recent victories of Ukraine keep making Russians nervous. Recently, occupiers started the relocation of their military headquarters to a safer place. By these actions, they are obviously trying to remove it out of reach of Ukrainian weapon. Is it a good decision? Only in a short-term perspective. Moving headquarters deeper into the country will undoubtedly limit the ability of Russian commanders to give quick orders. They simply will not see the field the front line, just like it was in 2022, when Russian troops were defended near Kiev region. The tactics of Ukraine keeps evolving as well. Currently, we can see how both sides keep adapting to new war conditions. Now, it is not a war of military power, but a war of intelligence and technology. In short, the war of drones. They are cheaper than the rockets, and for both countries they show better result. Whose tactics will win? On occupied territories, Russia operates with strong air defense and electronic warfare systems. That makes it hard for Ukraine to hit deep into the enemy's rear. So Ukrainian armed forces try to adapt their rights. For example, they started launching drones in the morning, when the operators of air defense are less concentrated. But what is the biggest advantage of the Ukrainian army? The military intelligence. Ukrainian forces learn how to gather information about radars and air defense systems. Due to this fact, almost 40% of Ukrainian drones can hit their target. According to an insider from Ukraine's general staff, technological advantage of Ukraine will not last long. Both sides are learning from each other. Currently, Ukraine is planning to apply combined tactics in using drones. For example, AI can help drones to hit targets more accurate. Russians are trying to do the same. We keep seeing how forces often copy each other. In order to make their hits more accurate, they increase production of laser-guided shells and drones. So, there is no day without the news. The war keeps being tough not only for Russia and Ukraine, but for the whole world. So who will win in the end? Find out in our next video.